The silence of deep space was broken by an unexpected signal that would change humanity's destiny forever. Dr. Marcus Webb rubbed his tired eyes as he stared at the readings on his monitor screen. The Horizon Research Station floated quietly, in the darkness between Mars and Jupiter, its mission to listen for signs of life among the stars. Marcus had been working the night shift for 3 months, hoping to catch something that his colleagues might miss during busier hours. Most nights brought nothing but cosmic background noise and the occasional burst from distant pulsars. Tonight was different. The signal came through at exactly 0247 hours, cutting through the static like a knife through silk. "Zoe, you need to see this," Marcus called to his research partner, Dr. Zoe Carter, who was reviewing data from the previous week. She looked up from her workstation, her short red hair catching the blue glow of the computer screens. Zoe walked over to Marcus's console and peered at the waveform dancing across his display. The pattern was complex, far too organized to be natural. It repeated every 47 seconds with mathematical precision. "This isn't random cosmic noise," she whispered, her voice filled with excitement and fear. The two scientists worked through the night, running the signal through every decoding program they had. As dawn approached on the distant Earth, they finally cracked the basic structure. What they found made their hearts race with terror and wonder. The signal contained star charts, tactical data, and most shocking of all, a desperate plea for help. The message came from a species calling themselves the Catalans, an advanced civilization that had been fighting a losing war against an enemy they called the Devourers. Their home worlds were burning, their fleets scattered, and they were sending out this signal as a last desperate attempt to find allies. Marcus stared at the translated text scrolling across his screen. "They're asking anyone who receives this message to send military aid to coordinates in the Proxima system. They promise to share their advanced technology in exchange for help." Zoe felt her hands trembling as she read the details. The Catalans described weapons that could destroy entire planets, ships that traveled faster than light, and enemies so ruthless they consumed everything in their path. "Marcus, if this is real, we're talking about the first confirmed contact with alien intelligence. But more than that, we're being asked to join a galactic war." The weight of their discovery pressed down on both scientists. Earth's greatest moment of contact with alien life was not a peaceful greeting or scientific exchange. It was a cry for help from a dying civilization, begging humanity to join a conflict that could determine the fate of multiple worlds. Marcus made the decision that would change everything. Instead of following proper protocols and reporting to the International Space Council, he activated the station's emergency broadcast system. Within minutes, the alien signal and its translation were being transmitted to every government, military installation, and research facility on Earth. The response was immediate and chaotic. Emergency sessions were called in every major capital. Military leaders studied the tactical data, while scientists debated the authenticity of the message. Religious leaders questioned what this meant for humanity's place in the universe. But time was running out for the Catalans. Their signal indicated that their final defensive line would fall within days. If humanity was going to respond, it had to be now. President Catherine Hayes convened an emergency meeting of Earth's Unified Defense Council. The decision reached was unprecedented in human history. 3 prototype warships, Earth's most advanced vessels, would be dispatched immediately to the Proxima system. Captain Riley Stone, Earth's most experienced deep space commander, would lead the mission. As the ships prepared for humanity's first interstellar military mission, Marcus and Zoe remained at their monitoring station, listening to the alien signals growing weaker by the hour. They had made first contact, but instead of bringing peace, their discovery was sending humanity into the unknown darkness of space armed for war. The Catalan signal that started as a whisper in the void had become humanity's battle cry. Earth's children were about to learn that the universe was far more dangerous and complex than they had ever imagined. The accidental signal would spark a chain of events that would test every aspect of human character, creativity, and determination. Neither Marcus nor Zoe could have predicted that their discovery would not just introduce humanity to alien life, but would forge them into one of the galaxy's most feared and respected civilizations through the fires of unexpected war. Captain. Riley Stone gripped the armrest of his command chair as the three Earth vessels dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Proxima system. The journey had taken 18 hours using humanity's experimental jump drive technology, pushing the engines beyond their tested limits. Around him, the bridge crew of the UES Defiance worked frantically at their stations, preparing for humanity's first interstellar military engagement. The tactical display showed a scene of devastation that made Riley's stomach turn. Debris fields stretched across the system where planets and space stations had once existed. Massive alien ships, sleek and angular, moved between the wreckage, like predators hunting the last survivors. These had to be the devourers that the Catalan distress signal had warned about. "Captain," called Lieutenant Commander Tom Briggs from the communications station, "I'm picking up Catalan signatures. 3 ships, badly damaged, hiding behind the 4th planet's largest moon." Riley nodded grimly. The rescue fleet had arrived, just in time. "Signal the Catalans. Tell them Earth forces are here to assist. Commander Janet Pierce, take us in formation with the Valiant and the Resolute. We're going to extract those survivors." As the human ships moved toward the moon, Riley studied the enemy vessels on his screen. The Devourer ships were massive, at least 5 times larger than Earth's warships. Their dark hulls seemed to absorb light, making them appear like holes in space itself. But Riley had fought against superior odds before. Humanity's advantage had always been unpredictability. The extraction began smoothly. The 3 Catalan ships, their crystalline hulls cracked and leaking energy, moved slowly toward the human rescue formation. The Catalans themselves appeared on the main viewer for the first time in human history. They were tall, graceful beings with silver skin that shimmered like liquid metal. Their leader, who introduced himself as High Commander Vex, spoke through a universal translator. "Human vessels, we are grateful for your response to our plea. The Devourers have destroyed everything we built over millennia. You are our last hope for survival." Riley felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. "High Commander, we're here to help. Our ships will escort you to safety while our engineers assist with your repairs." But as the rescue formation moved away from the moon, disaster struck without warning. The Catalan ship closest to the Defiance suddenly experienced a catastrophic power surge. Its damaged energy core exploded outward, sending a wave of exotic radiation directly toward the human flagship. Lieutenant Sarah Knox at the weapons station reacted instinctively to protect her ship. "Incoming energy wave, defensive systems, activating." The Defiance's automatic defense grid fired a full spread of kinetic projectiles to disperse the incoming energy burst. The projectiles worked perfectly, breaking up the dangerous radiation wave before it could damage the human ship. But they continued past their target, striking the Catalan diplomatic vessel that had been approaching to establish formal first contact protocols. The ancient Catalan ship, already weakened by weeks of battle, couldn't withstand the impact. It broke apart in a brilliant flash of light, taking with it the entire Catalan diplomatic corps and their sacred peace artifacts. High Commander Vex's image on the screen changed from gratitude to horror and rage. "You have destroyed the ship of First Voices, the sacred vessel that carried our most honored ancestors. This was not accident. This was betrayal." Riley stood, up from his chair, desperation in his voice. "High Commander, it was an accident. We were trying to protect our ship from the energy surge." "We never intended to harm your people." But the damage was done. In Catalan culture, the ship of First Voices was more than just a diplomatic vessel. It was a sacred temple containing the remains of their greatest leaders and their most precious cultural artifacts. Its destruction was considered the ultimate act of war. "Humans have revealed their true nature," Vex declared, his silver skin now glowing with angry red patterns. "You came not as saviors but as conquerors. The Catalan sovereignty declares, you enemies of all civilized life." The remaining Catalan ships immediately powered their weapons and began targeting the human vessels. Riley ordered an emergency retreat, but it was too late. The misunderstanding had escalated into open warfare. As the 3 Earth ships jumped back to faster-than-light speed, fleeing the Proxima system, Riley realized the terrible truth. Humanity's first contact with alien life had been a complete disaster. Instead of saving the Catalans, they had accidentally made enemies of the most advanced civilization they had ever encountered. His journey back to Earth was filled with dread. Riley knew that his good intentions had started something that could destroy his entire species. The Catalans possessed technology far beyond human capabilities, and now they believed that Earth was another enemy to be eliminated. When the rescue fleet arrived back in Earth's solar system, they brought with them the worst possible news. Humanity's attempt to help had backfired catastrophically. The accidental signal that had promised hope and alliance had instead sparked a war that could end human civilization before it had truly begun to explore the stars. The warning came exactly 72 hours after Captain Riley Stone's fleet returned to Earth. Defense Coordinator Nova Pierce stood in the underground command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, watching as thousands of red dots appeared on the holographic display of Earth's solar system. The Catalan warfleet had arrived, and it was massive beyond human comprehension. Nova had spent her entire career preparing for theoretical alien invasions, but nothing had prepared her for this reality. The enemy fleet consisted of over 300 vessels, each one larger and more advanced than anything in Earth's arsenal. The lead ship alone was the size of a small moon, its crystalline hull gleaming with deadly energy patterns. "Ma'am," called Technical Sergeant Mike Foster from his workstation. "We're receiving a transmission from the Catalan flagship. They're demanding Earth's immediate surrender." Nova straightened her shoulders and activated the main communications array. The image that appeared on the central screen was High Commander Vex, but he looked different now. His silver skin had darkened to an angry bronze color, and ceremonial war markings covered his face. "People of Earth," Vex's voice echoed through the command center, "you have committed an act of ultimate sacrilege against the Catalan sovereignty. The destruction of our sacred vessel cannot be forgiven. We offer you one chance for mercy. Surrender your military forces and submit to Catalan justice. Refuse, and your world will burn like all others who have opposed us." Nova stepped forward, her voice steady despite the fear gripping her heart. "Hi, Commander Vex, I am Defense Coordinator Nova Pierce. The destruction of your vessel was a tragic accident during our attempt to rescue your people. We are prepared to make reparations and seek peaceful resolution to this conflict." Vex's bronze skin flared brighter with rage. "Lies! You responded to our distress call not as saviors but as destroyers seeking to claim our technology. Your accident destroyed irreplaceable cultural treasures and the remains of our most revered ancestors. There can be no peace between us." The transmission ended abruptly, and within minutes the Catalan attack began. Energy beams more powerful than anything humans had ever witnessed cut through Earth's outer defense stations like paper. The Luna base, humanity's first permanent settlement beyond Earth, vanished in a flash of blue light that could be seen from the planet's surface. Commander Jack Torres, leading Earth's defense fleet, found his ships hopelessly outmatched. The human vessel's weapons barely scratched the Catalan shields, while single shots from the alien ships could destroy entire human cruisers. "All units fall back to defensive position Alpha," Jack shouted into his communicator as another Earth ship exploded around him. On Earth's surface, Nova coordinated the largest evacuation in human history. Cities across the globe implemented emergency protocols as millions of people fled to underground bunkers and reinforced shelters. The orbital defense platforms, humanity's pride and technological achievement, were systematically destroyed by the advancing Catalan forces. Dr. Marcus Webb and Dr. Zoe Carter, the scientists who had first detected the alien signal, watched the battle from their emergency bunker beneath the Horizon Research Station. "This is our fault," Marcus whispered, staring at the readings showing the destruction above. "We started this war with our discovery." Zoe placed a hand on his shoulder. "No, Marcus, we tried to help. The Catalans are so focused on their pain that they can't see our good intentions. But humans don't give up. We never have." Above them, the battle raged across Earth's orbital space. The International Space Station became a refugee center before being evacuated to the planet's surface. Satellite networks failed, as Catalan ships methodically destroyed Earth's technological infrastructure. Within 12 hours, humanity had lost 90% of its space-based assets. But Nova Pierce had not built her reputation by accepting defeat. In the command bunker, she studied tactical reports from the few surviving human ships. The Catalans fought with precision and overwhelming firepower, but they followed predictable patterns. Their tactics were ancient, refined over millennia of warfare, but they had one crucial weakness. They expected their enemies to fight conventionally. "Sergeant Foster," Nova called out, "patch me through to all remaining military units, including ground forces. I have new orders." As her message went out across Earth's remaining communication networks, Nova began implementing humanity's greatest strength: adaptability. If conventional warfare couldn't win against the Catalans, then humans would have to fight unconventionally. The first phase of Nova's desperate plan involved something the Catalans had never encountered: guerrilla warfare in space. Small, human fighters previously considered obsolete against large warships began attacking Catalan vessels using hit-and-run tactics. They struck at sensor arrays and communication equipment, then disappeared into asteroid fields and space debris before the aliens could respond. Captain Riley Stone, despite his role in starting the conflict, volunteered to lead the most dangerous missions. His ship, the Defiance, had been modified with experimental stealth technology and unconventional weapons. As he prepared for another raid against Catalan supply lines, he spoke to his crew. "We may have started this war by accident, but we're going to end it on purpose. The Catalans think they know how humans fight because they've studied our military doctrine. But they don't understand what makes us truly dangerous. We improvise." The tide began to shift as Earth's defenders abandoned traditional space combat tactics. Human engineers converted civilian spacecraft into suicide bombers, cargo haulers became stealth attack vessels, and mining equipment was weaponized beyond recognition. The Catalans, for the first time in their military history, found themselves fighting an enemy they couldn't predict or understand. As the third day of the siege dawned, Nova Pierce stood before the holographic display showing the battle above Earth. The Catalan fleet was still overwhelmingly superior, but human resistance was growing stronger. Earth's children were learning to fight a war unlike any other, and their creativity was becoming their greatest weapon against impossible odds. Engineer Kai Nakamura had never imagined that his hobby of building racing drones would become humanity's secret weapon against an alien invasion. Working in the converted subway tunnels beneath New Tokyo, Kai led a team of civilian engineers who were turning everyday technology into instruments of war. The Catalans had superior firepower, but they had never faced an enemy that could weaponize a microwave oven. The breakthrough came when Kai realized that Catalan ships operated on energy frequencies similar to Earth's wireless communication networks. "If we can't punch through their shields with brute force," he explained to his team, "we'll hack them like a computer virus." Above ground, the war had entered its second week. The Catalan fleet maintained orbital supremacy, but their ground invasion had stalled. Human resistance fighters emerged from hidden bunkers to strike at alien landing parties, then vanished back into underground tunnel systems that the Catalans couldn't map or predict. Captain Riley Stone watched from the bridge of his modified ship as another phase of humanity's unconventional war began. His vessel, the Defiance, now looked nothing like a military craft. Kai's engineering team had covered it with civilian communication arrays, making it appear like a floating antenna farm. But hidden within those arrays were weapons that could disrupt Catalan technology at the quantum level. "Riley, you magnificent maniac," came the voice of Defense Coordinator Nova Pierce through the encrypted channel. "Your ship looks like a garbage scow held together with spare parts." Riley grinned despite the desperate situation. "That's exactly what we want them to think. Kai's modifications make us look like helpless refugees. The Catalans won't waste their big guns on what appears to be a broken civilian vessel." The strategy worked perfectly. As the Defiance drifted toward a Catalan patrol group, the alien ships barely acknowledged its presence. Their sensors registered it as a damaged refugee vessel trying to escape the combat zone. It wasn't until Riley's ship, was within point-blank range that the Ketelans realized their mistake.